best could be. I haven't seen my Super Nintendo since 2003. That's alright, I don't mind. I've got a Switch in the old switcheroo. My friend Mike and Jaymo too.
Welcome back to the Old SwitchAroo, where we're talking gaming retro with Mike and Jaymo.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jaymo.
We are still on our break from full episodes before we start season 3. So, in this episode of the Old SwitchAroo Lite Switch, we're going to be talking a little bit about what we've been playing recently instead of the over 250 retro games available on the Nintendo Switch Online. So, if you'd like to be ready for when season 3 starts, remember to subscribe or follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen. So, Jimmo, let's start off with what you've been playing.
I have been hip deep in fighting games, and I've been loving every minute of it. I was honored to be on the Cable Club League podcast. We have a bunch of them in our Discord, and I think we can put links in the show notes pretty easily here.
Yep.
But they had me on as their first guest for their league this season. The premise is that people are bringing their favorite retro game, and they're making a case of why they think it's so good. And then once the guest departs, they will rank them. So I brought Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which is very deeply important to me, Mike. I mean, I kind of go into it on their podcast, but that was my college game. Did you have any like arcades in the colleges you've been to or taught at or went to?
Not that I remember offhand.
No.
Okay, so this is one that you played out as an arcade game.
Yes, very much so. There's a CSUN arcade that I used to walk past, and being that I commuted to college, I didn't really have much of a community experience at Cal State Northridge. I didn't stay in the dorms, so I never really went to campus events. I kind of just went home after my classes. So we would all gather around the Third Strike machine in the CSUN. Well, it's a wellness center now, but it used to be an arcade, and I take issue with that.
In a sense, hasn't wasn't that always a wellness center then?
I made the same joke. Great minds think alike, Mike. But yeah, Third Strike though, I know a couple of our listeners, listen to it. So, throw down in our Discord or we'll hop over to the Cable Club League and jump into their gaming couch. But it's such a good retro fighting game. And in their Discord, I believe it was Dan or Don from Cable Club League described it perfectly when they said the game is crunchy like good fighting games tend to be. And I thought that's the perfect adjective. Every hit in that 2D fighting game has impact. Every move you make has such purpose. It's just, it's so good. Um,
So you're playing it how? Because presumably not
it's
still as an arcade game.
Yeah, look it out of the garage. No, good point. Yeah, we played via the Anniversary Collection, Street Fighter 30th Anniversary, which is a Switch game. But we're also playing it on Steam because it's on sale all the time. I think when I bought it, it was like $10, and you get Street Fighter. You get Street Fighter, not Street Fighter 2, the original Fighter. Have you ever seen the very first Street Fighter game, Mike?
Only I think when you showed me it.
It's ridiculous how basic and poorly that game is aged. And then you have a bunch of versions of Street Fighter 2 and then all the versions of Street Fighter 3. So it's really fun, and if you pick it up on Switch, pick it up on Steam, strong recommend.
I'm
I don't think you're going to though, based on how you felt about Street Fighter 2 on our show.
I did pick it up to check out briefly on Steam.
Oh, that's right. You said you
Yeah,
did. Yeah. Did you get to try it at all?
a little bit, and I mean I think it's just I'm not big on fighting games, so I'm not
Yeah.
terribly surprised. Like I think I want I fought a car, so that's something.
Okay, so you got what you wanted from a Street Fighter game.
Yeah, it reached the what it needed to do.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised to hear that your backstory with it is more of the arcade because I think when I was looking at it, I saw that it was also a Dreamcast game.
Yeah, yeah. It was originally Dreamcast. Excuse me, originally arcade, and then ported to the Dreamcast. Interestingly, though, I never had the Dreamcast version because I knew I wanted to play online, and the Dreamcast internet connectivity was not as seamless. as I would need it to be to jump in. So I played it a lot on the OG Xbox, not 360, like the
Oh,
Xbox. Yeah. And it was very formational for me in my 20s. Like, oh, Third Strike, it's such a beautiful game. Um, and definitely go check out the Cable Club Leagues episode that features me on it because I love that game and I love talking to those guys. And thanks again for having me if you guys are listening. Yeah,
yeah. So
really,
links
really
for that'll
cool.
be in the description.
Awesome. So when you tried Third Strike, do you remember which character you picked?
Um,
There's a lot of weirdos in that one.
there is. I think there's one that has like sort of a stretching arm kind of thing going, and I think that it was that one, and then the one that for some reason all her punches and kicks are all kicks.
Yeah, Elena.
Yeah, there we go. That's
You know,
it.
you know what's weird though, Mike? I really know you. I wish I had guessed because for some reason I had a feeling you were gonna try Necro. I think he's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds right. I think
yeah, and he sings opera when he wins. Oh!
I would
Um,
not know about that.
okay, you get to the car. You beat some computer players. But yeah, it's wild because for those who've never picked up Street Fighter 3, but you know it from Street Fighter 2, which is most people. They scrapped all the returning characters except for Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, and then Akuma, who was only a secret character in Street Fighter 2. But you have facsimiles of all the characters. So Zangief is gone, but you have Hugo, and he's the slow character that has big throws where you spin around in the air a lot. Dulcim is gone, but you have Necro, and he's the one with the stretchy limbs. And did you manage to pull off? He also has like Blanca's electricity attack. Did you notice that?
I think once, but not, it was not effective because they were not close to me. I was not good at
Yeah,
getting those things to happen when I wanted to have them happen.
yeah. But
Uh,
you saw it at least. You saw him
yeah,
zap like a bug zap at least once.
yeah. So I can do things, just can make it be useful. So
Yeah, and then you
who's the
mentioned
E Honda in this then?
well, so that's actually interesting is that the mechanic of flying across the screen is actually one of the few things that didn't make the jump from Street Fighter 2. Um I guess Makoto would be the closest because she has a punch where she flies across the screen real fast. But if you're asking like which character you can just hold down one button and kill somebody,
That's the one I'm
uh
asking for. Yes.
yeah. I guess Chun-Li would be the closest because you do her kick, but she can't slide. I don't,
Okay.
Mike, listen, when you did the Street Fighter 2 episode, it doesn't matter how many times you beat me. No one's interested in that, okay? Even if said it was an embarrassing amount, which it was. Um, but this game is more balanced than that game was. So you can't quite exploit it like you took advantage of me and Crystal that day.
I just want to take advantage of the computer player, ideally.
Yeah. Um, And then the other fighting game that I've been playing a lot is Marvel vs. Capcom Collection. It is on the Switch. It was actually announced for the Switch, to the internet's delight. And then I know a bunch of our friends from the Cable Club are playing it. I think Jump Cancel from our Discord has been enjoying it a lot. Have you ever tried any of these games? Because the collection covers quite a few of them. Um,
I think
it's
so. Like this, I think this is probably something that I have a little bit played because of you in the
yeah,
past.
yeah. It's got X-Men: Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom, Marvel's Capcom 2, and The Punisher, which is an arcade game that the Arcadeology podcast covered. But it's just, oh, it's so nostalgic for me. These games were a huge, huge deal to me when I was a young man. And I remember when I walked into the arcade and saw X-Men versus Street Fighter, like my two favorite things, because I was an X-Men kid and I was a Street Fighter kid, and it was like this would be like if Mike, if you saw an arcade game and it was called Star Wars versus I don't know, Logic. Like, what is your second favorite thing?
More Star Wars.
Sure, Star Wars versus more Star Wars. But oh my gosh, these games are so fun, and I haven't been able to play them easily in a long time. So the fighting game community is feasting, as they'd say. Um, what have you been playing?
So the game I was going to talk about um, is surprisingly not old. It is from this year. It's a game called Duck Detective. the Secret Salami.
Are you trying to get us delisted or something? What the heck did you just duck detective, the secret salami?
Yes.
Mike, keep it classy, but tell me about this game.
Um, so very straightforwardly, you're this sort of hard-boiled, down on your luck detective. You just also happen to be like a duck.
Okay.
Um, and so it uses a whole lot of that sort of noir narration thing to be called in to solve the mystery of the stolen lunch.
Oh, like it's an office mystery.
Yeah,
This looks incredible. I'm on Nintendo.com because it's a Switch game for $10. I might have to pick this up.
yeah. It's about like 2 hours, and it's
Okay.
very entertaining. I actually also appreciate that it did have a option to have it like I think you could just go through it would just auto advance the dialogue, so you didn't have to like you could as soon as it was done talking, it would just move on to the next bit,
Yeah.
rather than having to like okay hit A again to go through it.
It
Um,
almost make that more like a cutscene or like a movie.
I think it's that it's an option. So if you
Yeah.
don't want it to do that, um, but yeah, it's like you go through, and as you're gaining information, eventually you'll have to go through and make your deductions and try to sort of get the lay of the land of the office, basically, and then figure out. Actually, you have to figure out both who's hired you because you're not sure, and then dig into the all the stuff going on in the office to really figure out what is really what you need to be dealing with.
I'm
It's
assuming that the person who hired you is someone in the office.
yes.
Okay. So you're kind of doing the dual mysteries. Who hired me and who stole the salami
Yeah, and there's a
out of
lot of
the
that, and it's a lot of stuff like figuring out like figuring out names and occupations and stuff, and kind of putting names and roles to the people you're meeting. So
and am I seeing go ahead.
and yeah, so it's a real nice, fun sort of 2 hour thing. It does a pretty good job of like you have the pieces that are there. It'll give you a little bit of feedback if you're close but not fully right on a guess. But you can kind of see like this is the part that I'm trying to solve now. And it's pretty entertaining with the dialogue it has as well.
Yeah, I'm noticing that like the on Nintendo.com, one of the first pictures says I was a freshly divorced duck, not able to pay next month's rent.
Yeah,
So I'm guessing it's kind of darkly funny. It's like a comedy.
yeah, he's got like a bread addiction.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then it also looks like there's a deductions mechanic.
Yeah,
And it's almost like you have to fill in a Mad Lib. So it says blank is being blanked by blank because blank picked up the blank blank. And so you're discovering this through conversations and like environmental observations and stuff.
yeah. So it'll kind of let you know that you can do that once you've had enough interactions that you've got the information that has to go into those fields.
This is amazing. This looks so fun. I think I want to, you said 2 hours?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I have to try to squeeze this in because I've already started playing the games for season three, and I try to beat all of those. So sometimes it's tough to get a new game into the rotation, but this looks delightful. Duck Detective: The Secret Salami, and you said
yeah.
this is new. Like when was it released?
This year or last
Okay,
year rather, within
yeah,
the last year.
yeah,
Um,
not within the last 9 days.
yeah, yeah. So this came out last year, and I think they're doing another Duck Detective game already in the works.
Nice, very cool. I'll definitely check it out. It looks really fun. This seems like right up your alley. It kind of you were talking about another game, Tangle Tower, I think.
Yeah,
That
actually, it is kind of in that. It's very much in that same realm.
yeah, yeah. You dig the mysteries. And the Ace Attorney games. Our friend Riri was on Derek's show talking about the Ace Attorney movie, but those games are also very much this vein.
Yeah, they are sitting in my Steam library. I went to go see if they were on sale because of that episode, and then I went, oh, they are already in my library. I just need to get around to that.
Have you considered getting a Steam Deck for as often as you travel and for how many games you have sitting on Steam?
I mean, I have a laptop.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a little, I don't know.
I
Be
don't like the handheld kind
oh
of thing.
oh yeah. So the form factor just not enjoyable.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I could see that.
it's a lot easier for me. But playing games on a computer or a TV screen, just that feels a lot more natural, more comfortable.
Absolutely. Well, can I talk about one more?
Yeah, go for it.
I have been playing Sonic Galactic, which is a fan-made game with a really interesting premise. Are you familiar with the Sega Saturn? Do you know what that was?
Somewhat familiar with it because it was
It was
their
the
32 bit.
yes, yeah. It was their competitor to the original PlayStation. And it's really tragic. Like the if you look into the backstory of the Sega Saturn, it's just a comedy of errors as far as like what went wrong. It was a system custom built for amazing 2D graphics at a time when the world was moving to 3D graphics. It was a console that was surprise released. As in there was a convention where they were talking about it and putting it up, and by the way, it's in stores now. And all these journalists were like, "What the hell, dude? We had no chance to do any. I would have done a whole cover. I would have given an issue, a preview. I would have interviewed people." All these stores were like, "Well, we can't do pre-orders. We can't do launch events. Just come get it, I guess." It just totally took the steam out because they were trying to beat PlayStation to the market. And perhaps the biggest blunder of the Sega Saturn is that they never released a traditional Sonic the Hedgehog game. There was a couple of now beloved Sonic spin-offs like Sonic R or Sonic 3D Blast, but they never did a 2D Sonic game, despite the fact that the Saturn was great at 2D games. So this game, Sonic Galactic, the premise is what if Sega had done right by Jesus and made a Sonic game in the mid 90s in the 32-bit era? And they didn't try to make it like a 3D game. It's like a beautiful, mid 90s CD based, great music, great animation. It's beautiful. It's just um Sega has been amazingly chill with the Sonic IP and letting people make fan games. And in fact, one of those fan games became one of the most beloved Sonic games of all time, which was Sonic Mania. That was a fan project that they basically just ended up paying for and publishing. So do it again, Sonic Galactic.
How are you?
Uh,
So how are you playing that then? If this is a fan game,
it's on their website and you
okay.
can download it. And I don't normally dabble in that, but it definitely seems like Sega is well aware of it. you know and I think that that's one of the things that has set Sega apart as a company is that they are way more open to fan prop creations. I'll be honest, I'm really wary downloading stuff. I'm like, oh, no virus, no virus, no virus. But it seems fine. uh I don't know if we'll put a link, but if that's something you're interested in, I will let you Google it and follow your heart. But
Yeah, what was this
I'm
called
enjoying it
again?
quite a bit. Sonic Galactic.
Sonic Galactic.
Sonic Galactic. Yeah, one of the coolest things about it is that like they had an original character that feels straight out of the canon. Like it's so well designed. The levels feel very true to form. Um, and so anyone who dabbles in downloading fan games, if you like Sonic 2, because Mike, you like Sonic 2, right? You're a Sonic boy, kind of.
Yeah, Sonic 2 was good until the part that I can't beat. But
Right. Yeah. This seems a bit kinder, but I haven't gotten to the very end yet, so who knows how much that difficulty will spike. Which I guess in your case was a very literal situation because you kept getting killed by Mechasonic spikes.
that might have been
Oh no!
manageable. It's that stupid. It was the stupid boss fight, the Robotnik fight right before that with all the lasers.
Yes, also the spikes. The
Yeah,
spikes were
also
flying around the room.
actually yeah, still spikes.
Mike and spikes don't mix. Well, they do, just not in the way that Mike would enjoy.
Yeah,
Yes, that's what I've been playing.
got spikes in my mic.
Yes, Mike does not like spikes.
Yeah. All right, so I think that covers what we've been playing lately. So until next time, please remember to like, follow, or subscribe to the Old Switcheroo and rate or review the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can also visit www.theoldswitcharoo.com to find all our social media links, and we'd love to hear what you thought of this episode or what you're hoping to hear in future episodes.
Also, be sure to join our Discord where you can talk games, play games, and even make a friend or two. As always, thanks for listening to the Old SwitchAroo, where we've been talking gaming retro with Mike and Jaymo.
I've been Mike.
And I've been Jaymo. Game on, everyone.